Hello everybody, welcome to Coco's Crochet. I'm Litsa and today's going to be a fun video titled How Much Can I Crochet in 10 Hours? But specifically, how much and what can I crochet in 10 hours using this macrame kit which I purchased at Kmart for only $5. Now I will go through the contents of this little kit here, which is actually going to be what my inspiration was to make these items, or my challenge in actual fact, because I had to use those pieces in there and then use, of course, yarn from my stash. So I pulled out my very trusty Ogo yarn collection here because I knew there was some chunky beads in there that I needed to use, and also any collection obviously of all the yarn that you may have and I have in my yarn room. And this is just a sampling of some of the colors and yarns that I use for the projects, and of course your own hooks and a few little miscellaneous items I had to dip into, like buttons, some beads, some ribbon, and a hot glue gun, guys. And let me just start off by saying, is it illegal that we don't need to use or to attain a license to use a hot glue gun? I cannot understand how you people say it's just so easy to use, but I am going to be practicing because this is now in my repertoire. But let me tell you, when I get to when it was time to use it, what my experience was. And I'll tell you, we need a license to use one of these things, guys. Anyway, let's get back to the task on hand. So about a month ago, or maybe 3 weeks ago, I walked past this kit in Kmart and it was reduced down to $5. Now in here you can see these are beautiful items. Now you know what caught my eye, don't you guys? The beads and the rings. And I thought I could surely make this work even if I just use the rings. So in here you actually get, oops, I've got my paper here. You get 5 rods, 3 different sizes. You get 5 rings and they're in different sizes as well. And then you also get 10 beads. So as you can see there, that is a nice collection of hardware, shall we call it. And here they all are, all spread out, wooden items, which is also always lovely to have. And I thought, wow, what can I do with this? Because for $5, I really did think that it was value for money, but I couldn't just have it sitting there. So I will show you in the end what's left from this little kit, because I did purchase 2 in the end. I couldn't help myself. I just thought $5 is an excellent bargain, and I'm sure that everything will be used eventually. So I took upon myself this little challenge, and I'm bringing it to you today. And in total, it was 10 hours. Now, in those 10 hours, it includes time for not only crocheting the items that I'm going to show you, but also assembling them, because there's going to be sewing involved, a little bit of gluing as we touched on. Oh my goodness, that's a challenge in itself. And then just the thinking about it as well. Although I have to say, because I have been looking at these for a little while, I did have a few projects in mind, but I needed to execute them. So I needed some patterns, or whether it be on YouTube, and that's what I refer to for most of them. Some came just out of my head, and then also one that is a part of a cowl that I'm taking part in. So I'm going to start off with the very, very first item that I made. And you know that it's going to be a towel ring, don't you guys? And here it is here. Now what I used for this one is one of the rings, and the ring size that I used was the largest one, which is 6.5 millimeters, or 6.5 centimeters, or 65 millimeters. I usually use a 7 centimeter hook, so it's just a little bit smaller than my usual one. And I used a little bead from my miscellaneous items in my yarn room or my craft room, the ones that I always use. But of course you can use a button if you wish, or you could even use a tie if you just want to use what's in that pack. So this was the very first thing here. Excuse me. I did use my Ogo yarn and a 6 millimeter hook, and I went to my go-to pattern, which is by Days Crochet. Basically how to crochet a towel ring, and it usually takes about 10 minutes or so. But in total, from beginning to end, this project took me 25 minutes. So let's tick that one off the list, because I thought that, that was the obvious one to start off with, guys. And I just thought I'd cruise in there with something that I know, and I knew that I could perfect it. So that was the first thing done. And then I thought, I've always heard about those little teethers or teething rings that people make using wooden rings for the little babies. But I wasn't sure how it would work, and I came upon a fabulous pattern for preemie babies, or like preemies or newborns, because it is something that they can play with, and deters them from playing with their wires, especially the little ones that are in the NICU. Is that what it's called when they're still in hospital? So what I'm talking about is this gorgeous little tiny octo teether. Isn't it adorable? So basically the babies touch these or hold onto them, and they avoid touching anything else that's in there that, you know, out of harm's way. Now this tiny little ring here is the smallest one that was in there, and it's 4 centimeters or 40 millimeters. And I did use some of my cotton yarn. You can use any cotton yarn, obviously. And which one did I use for this? My 3.5 millimeter hook. So this was a lovely project. It was really heartwarming to make this one. And this one actually took an hour. Now, what I find the hardest to do is, what are these called? Curly cues. These things to make them curl the right way. So they took a little bit of time, and in the end, they're not all perfect. But this was a fabulous little make for my collection, to add to my collection of makes. I actually really enjoyed making that. And the pattern is called the Octo Teether. And the YouTube tutorial that I used is But First Crochet. I thought that was a pretty cool name for a YouTube channel. And again, a lovely tutorial, really enjoyed it. It doesn't go for very long at all. And I took in total 1 hour. So far, we're 1 hour and 25 minutes in to our 10-hour experiment. It's actually not an experiment, challenge. That's what I like to call it. So the next thing that I proceeded to make was a wall hanging. Now, obviously, when you see those rods, your mind straight away goes to, well, mine went to wall hangings. So I thought, okay, I need to make something very pretty, but because I wanted to use the beads as well, it had to be something using chunkier yarn. So I dipped into my Ogos. I also used the Ogos for my, if I didn't already mention it, for my towel ring. And I found these gorgeous colors in here, guys, because this bag, seriously, it has all my scraps in here and I love it. And these colors scream to me some sort of plant. I just thought, you know, it'd be nice to have like a wall with some vines or something. But I ended up making this wisteria leaves. These wisteria leaves, is that the right term? And here it is here, guys. All that's missing is a piece of rope or a chain to hang it up with, but look at them up close. So that's the longest rod there. That is the which rod did I use? It would have been the, beg your pardon, I should have my glasses on. I think this one was 30 centimeters, this rod, which is 12 inches. And these beads are well, there's only one size beads, they're quite large. And this is the wisteria leaf here. I think it looks fabulous. I really do like it. I imagine it up on a wall somewhere. Like I said, all that's missing is the little chain or the yarn to hang it with. And this is the YouTube tutorial that I use for these leaves, and I'll show you up nice and close. And they don't take very long at all, each leaf, maybe 20 minutes. This is by Make It Yourself by Papari, an excellent YouTube tutorial. I used my Ogo yarn, as we said, and a 6mm hook. My trusty chocolate 6mm hook, which I absolutely love, and the 5 beads. You can actually move these beads up and down if you wish, and you can position them in different spots, but I quite like them right there. And then I tied them around nice and neatly around the rod. I think that they look really, really nice. And as I said, this took an hour and a half. So we added another hour and a half to the time that we're taking away from the 10 hours. So there we are. That was project number 3. Now, project number 4, I didn't include the crochet time, and you'll see why. It is one of my Tile of the Week Thursday tiles, one that I always wanted to use, but I couldn't quite fit it in the blanket that I'm making, and I didn't want to like put it on a cushion or something like that. But then I thought, hey, a wall hanging, and this is the tile here, guys. Now, let's see it from afar so you can see that I made the little tassels and I've attached the beads to it from the pack, and this is the 25 centimeter rod. Now I'll show you up close. So I've put a little bit of detail on the top. I've used all the same colors in the tile and the same yarn to make the little tassels and I've attached the beads to it. Now again, all that's missing is the chain or the rod, whatever I need up there to hang it up. But I think that that is another addition to a wall hanging for the craft room. And I've used another Tile of the Week Thursday tile, which is awesome, right guys? So I didn't include the time for crocheting for the purpose of this challenge, but I did use the rod and I did use the beads. And to assemble it all, including making the little tassels and sewing it onto the rod, excuse me, I did end up taking half an hour, which isn't very long at all, I thought, which is fabulous, right? So let's make sure that we tick project number 4. Now the next one is one that I thought, will I make into a like a key ring? But in the end, when I put these 3 different, so I used the 3 different rings, all the sizes, which were the 65 centimeter, 5 centimeter, and 4 centimeter. So each and every size that was in the pack, I used them. And I ended up making another wall hanging. I actually thought you could put like a photo in there as well. But I just used some artificial flowers, some Ogo yarn, and very simply single crocheted all the way around and just attached them in the middle and put a little loop to hang it with. And I just thought that would make some part of the room very, very pretty. Now this, as I said, I used the 3 rings from the pack, and this took me half an hour because, as you can imagine, single crocheting around, you know, these rings wouldn't take very long at all. I just think it's something that's very, very pretty. So I was very happy to add that to my challenge, which was project number 5. We're powering through these, guys. Only 2 to go. So I managed to get 7 projects done. That is pretty brilliant, I think. Now, this one, as you can imagine, when I show it to you, took the longest. And I'm going to start off with how long it took me. 4.5 hours to crochet this, and then another half an hour for the final touches, which included using the glue gun. So I'm talking about this daisy here. I'll show you the completed project and then I'll talk about it. So this little daisy here, I used the rod inside here. So I used the shortest rod, which is how many millimeters? I did write it down here. The 20 centimeter rod. And then what you do is you crochet all the little pieces, then you crochet like a sleeve almost for the rod, and then you attach everything to it. Inside here, you glue it down with a piece of cardboard at the bottom, and this is a 3.5 centimeter pot. Now, on top here, you'll see it's peppercorns mimicking fertilizer because the glue on the yarn was not pretty, guys. I have to really practice with that glue gun. But this project here, 4.5 hours plus half an hour to put it all together. It took as long almost to make this as it did the other 6 projects. Now, I made that one because our friend Cassandra over at Craftably Ever After, she's got the hashtag Amigurumi World Tour Cal happening at the moment, 2024. And I thought, well, I might as well just make it because I need to make the daisy eventually. We also have to make the sunflower. Let me just show it to you here. So I thought I'd make the daisy today and save the sunflower for later because eventually I'm trying to make each and every project from this book. So for this project here, I used the pattern from the Whimsical Stitches book, and the designer is Lauren Espy. I also used a 20 centimeter rod, as we said, for the center. That's why it keeps it up. Must say, using that rod, originally I wasn't going to use one, but for, you know, the sake of this challenge, I got to use one, and I'm so happy that I did because look how straight it stands. It's just fantastic, isn't it? I just love it. There's no way that's collapsing. So what did I use? I used the 20 centimeter rod from the pack, and everything else was my yarn, which was, you know, just some of my 8 and 10 ply acrylic yarn that I have. A 4mm hook for this one. And I also used my terracotta pot, as we said, 3.5 centimeters, a hot glue gun, And that was it, other than the peppercorns, which of course you don't need to put on there. And let me tell you guys, these were just for show. They don't smell like pepper. There's no sneezing involved because I sneeze whenever I smell pepper. So I just thought it added a pretty touch. And in actual fact, I might actually glue them down. We'll see how we go. So that was project number 6. Now, drum roll, guys. Project number 7, and after that I'll let you know if there's any pieces left and what I intend to do with them, if there are any. So the last project is so adorable. Now, I had heard about this, but I hadn't actually seen the tutorial for it. And isn't it funny? I truly believe that manifestation is real, because I needed to make something with a bead, and I kept thinking key ring. But guess what? As I was scrolling through YouTube, Cassandra's pattern, so Cassandra from Craftably Ever After, she has a little angel ornament for the tree that she's spoken about before on her channel, and I was intrigued by it. And guess what? I got to make it, guys, and all I needed was a bead from the pack. Here it is here. Isn't she adorable? So basically you just need to crochet the 2 pieces. Then you add your bead with some ribbon. So you need the ribbon from your supplies. Any ribbon, doesn't matter, and a button. Any button will do. Or you can even crochet a little star or a heart or anything you wish to put on, like a button, to decorate it. And that's glue from the glue gun. It's like a spider web. And then basically you just put it together. Her tutorial is literally, like, I think it's a short, it's 1.5 minutes, but it actually has the like how to make the circles, basically the size. But you can really make this any size, let's be real. And all you do is just watch it and make it, and I absolutely love it. Now this took me about 45 minutes to make in total. I did use just the 1 bead from the pack, some sparkle yarn, and you could use any yarn really, but I wanted to add some sparkle. I used a 5mm hook, some of my ribbon, which I have just bought this in this pack here ages ago from Kmart, in actual fact, and you could probably get out of that little spool probably 2 little angels. And I also used, oh, as we said, the hot glue gun. So that is project number 7. So let me just get the pack with the little pieces that is left, and I'll tell you what I intend to make them. So in essence, out of all of the items that were available to us, and in total there were quite a few. How many did we count, guys? I think we have in total, oh, where are we? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rods. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rings and 10 beads. So 20 pieces to play with, potentially 20 projects. I ended up making 7 because I used quite a few of the beads in a lot of the different projects, which was awesome. And now I have the pack left with this is all we have left, guys. 3 pieces. So in here, down the bottom here, there is a bead. So I'm going to use this bead to make another angel, I'm pretty sure. Because when Steve saw that angel, he actually loved it. He thought it was really sweet for the Christmas tree. And I thought it'd make a nice Christmas gift, or just, like an ornament, hang it off a bag, like a decoration. Like I used to do the stars. Instead of adding a star tag, I could add a little angel. And then again, I keep saying maybe I'll make a key ring. But I have 1 bead left, and I have 2 rods left. 1 30cm and 1 20cm. Now, I can either use these for more wall hangings, or I can shave them down, like cut them down. This one, in actual fact, I could cut in half, and I could make the sunflower with it. Or I could just use both of them and cut this one a little bit too, and use it for more potted plants, which I absolutely love. So these will not go to waste, rest assured, because I think that if I got it down to 15 centimeters, that would definitely make 2. I just need a saw, and Steve has plenty of those. And that's it, guys. Out of the potentially 20, how many did we say? 10, 20 pieces, there were only 3 left, so 17 were used. So 20 pieces for $5. What does that equate? It's not 50 cents. It's something like 25 cents a piece or something like that. I think that's pretty good value, guys. If I've done my math wrong, please don't hold it to me. It's been a long day. A lot of crocheting has happened. And let me tell you, as much as I love crocheting, when you crochet for almost 10 hours straight, It's a long time. I did get up for a few little breaks, but you know, I had to do a little bit of stretching and that. But that's it. I absolutely love all the projects. Let me show you them in no order once again. This one could have probably had a few more petals, but I was done by then, 4.5 hours in. Oh my goodness. That included sewing the pieces on, and that is my downfall. The little angel ornament or bag tag, I absolutely love her. And you can use, you know, different color ribbon with different color buttons, because I do have all these color ribbon, and I do have a nice healthy collection of buttons. So there are many, many colors to choose from that are Christmassy, even like some silver or some gold. That would be very, very pretty as well. Well, I do have another 11 beads to play with. And then I also made a couple of wall hangings, which, you know what, I just need to add a little bit of something to hang them with. So at the top, there they are, both very different, but the beads were wonderful. This one here is something a little bit different, and I quite like it. I think it'll fit very nice in a corner. I might actually put a little photo on the top. I kept thinking a little photo of Coco in there. I had to make, we all know I had to make a towel ring. And this little octo teether is so adorable. Absolutely love it. Imagine all the different colors you could make that in. That'll be so super cute. And as we know, I do have quite a few babies coming in the family, which I'm very excited about. So that's it, guys. What do you think? Did you enjoy that? Did you think that that kit was worth the $5? Well, I certainly do, and I'm so glad that I bought two, not just one. And that 10 hours was a challenge and a half, let me tell you. I did learn a few things about myself, that if I put my mind to something, I can be quite disciplined. Do I enjoy crocheting that way? Yeah, absolutely, because I was having a fun game. That's what it was for me. I'll probably do this again, maybe bring you some more of these, how much or what can I crochet in X amount of hours. But again, guys, don't you all think we need a license to use one of these? Because I certainly do. So I hope you're all keeping well and you've had a little bit of fun while you've been hanging out with me. I certainly have. Thank you once again. And until I see you all very, very soon, take care, everyone. Bye-bye for now.